Yes, I'm live. I always come in and see, am I live? Am I not? Anyway, hi everyone, I'm Jonine and I'm here today to facilitate a beautiful healing webinar that's coinciding with the blue moon, which is a rare thing that's happening this month with the full moon already and then the blue moon also. So while we create this healing vortex today and you experience your light body vehicle, you've also got the blue moon energetic shifts and changes that are happening on the higher levels of consciousness that are filtering through to you, your body, your mind, your emotions, and your psychological state. So I just want to welcome you all and to just get seated, get really comfortable. I'm just going to talk a little bit before we begin anyway, just giving you a little bit of an overlay and that you'll be experiencing the light body. I just want to see if anyone's on. Even so, if they're not, I'm still going ahead to allow this to come out to everyone who can watch the replay right into the future. And yeah, we're going to have some fun. So I had a spiritual awakening that was like rocket power. A lot of people call it Kundalini awakening when I was 23. I just want to show you a little bit of my background story of how I use the light body vehicle. When I was a child, I used to do a lot of astral travel, move in and out of the body. I did have my first awakening when I was 8 years old, and that is a different experience altogether. So the next experience that I had was when I was 23, and I wasn't looking for any awakening at all. I was just at an empowerment course with a group of ladies, 20 of them, and we were sitting around in the circle. And this is where my experience of my potential and power unlocked from the base of my spine. And basically, I don't need to probably say the whole story, but we were sitting in the circle and there was some beautiful, loving energy coming towards me. They were writing down what they could see truthfully about me, yet I may have not seen that, but I could feel the truth of it as energy hitting me, and it activated something in me and I started to giggle, and then this tickling feeling really low down in my pelvis started to tickle. So then I was giggling and then I was hysterically giggling, and then all of a sudden this golden Shakti light, which I did not know was like Shakti light. It was just, to me, it looked like a rocket flame, a gold, and it was no bottom of me and top of me. I was the consciousness of that golden flame. It just came out of nowhere from the root of my spine, whooshed up me with such a power. I was it, and it left out the top of my head and blew me backwards on the ground. I was laid out on the ground and I was actually shaking. I wasn't cold, but everyone thought I was cold, and I was all of a sudden catapulted up and out. So I felt like a whooshed out, and then I was over like a hood, looking, omnipresent, feeling, seeing, hearing telepathically everyone's feelings in the room. So there's a lot of fear. So that's the cave of consciousness of the mind and the body that we are all actually, our consciousness is threaded into through the 5 senses, and we're actually sort of entrapped in that cave of consciousness. Well, mine just pulled completely out. I was catapulted out, and I did feel fear that I couldn't get back into the body. But when I was in that space, it was pure fearlessness. Absolutely every fear in my whole entire body, psyche, future, death, everything had been just zeroed out. I actually felt so free and I could navigate and travel. But the fear thing was I didn't know if I was going to be able to get back in the body, but I had a wonderful teacher. Her name was Melanie Ryan, or she still is. Beautiful teacher. She's here in Perth, so I always like to mention her name. She got me back into the body. She knew what had happened to me. Took 30 minutes to get back into the body. Well, I think it was 30 minutes. It felt like a long time. I was on the ground. And when I got back in, I was really integrated, just as though nothing had happened. I just felt very deeply peaceful. Yeah, so that was my experience of the light body rocketing through me. So I had lots of those little awakenings after that. I wasn't able to maintain the power, and I kept exiting out the crown. And then it became like a bad habit, really. I remember one other friend said to me once, as it was starting to happen, that you've got to stop that. You've got to, grab a grip and stay in the body. So at that point I thought, wow, I'm going to anchor and pull myself down into the body. So I started to maintain it and hold my power within. Every time there's an expansion, this rocket power soul light vehicle, expands out, but you can keep it in the body. And when you keep it in the body, as you expand and dissolve at the same time, you drop further into your temple space, and it's an inner galactic orbit. So that's what I actually felt when I catapulted out. I catapulted out, but I hooked back in, and I was within my temple body. It's like a veil, a gateway that you can travel through. And when you're in it, you're not alone, you're not afraid, you're going directly to your higher divine soul self. Some people call it the soul star. And beyond that is more layers of consciousness that thin out into nothingness, and you absorb back into high nothingness, which is then connected to the supreme consciousness. So along the way, there's different guides that can come in. Jesus Christ is one of those lineages. I've worked with him, but I've also worked with Shiva Gorakshak Babaji, and that's who we will be working with today. So as we expand, he is overseeing our sacred vortex today, and he is here to assist humanity to evolve consciousness. So it's really, I find I really connect with his presence because it's really just consciousness, and it's scientific, and it's truth, and it's letting go of identity. It's not sort of fluffy and airy, and yeah, so that's what we're working through today. So as I developed further to use the light body, I was shown different gateways and veils that you wouldn't normally see with your five senses if you were trying to just expand consciousness. And the way that I was taught younger when I was meditating is just to expand and open your awareness, and you would just plop out of your body and just continue to go out the crown, and in this beautiful spaciousness that was nice, but it isn't direct. It's not directed. You're not directing your consciousness. It's like you're blending. Yes, maybe you're blending with the consciousness of the world, and then people, and then just God, and it's soft, but you're also open to pick up and collect other people's lower frequencies of the world with all the hatred and the violence and the anger. That's all out in that spaciousness. So how I'm shown, and I'll start to describe it, is you work with the control center of consciousness inside the brain. It's in the center, dead in the middle of the center of the brain. And if you wanted to access it, it's like you could put a skewer. You don't do that, but like imaginary, a skewer through here and a skewer through here. Now this is all in your mind, not for real. And where it intersects is the control center of consciousness. So I worked with this for years. I actually would sit within that center and see how long I could sit within it with non-thought. And I remember the first time I could do it for 2 seconds, and then a thought would flick in. So the more that you take your attention to this control center of consciousness, you're strengthening it, and it's activating, and it's illuminating, and it's becoming fueled. It's becoming more open. And so you want to take your mind there to build it. It's actually a gateway. And then it becomes more softer. And I noticed that it starts to change. It starts to have a little dip. So it might be just a point of light to begin with, but the more that you work with sitting in it, and then say a thought and your mind goes off on something, you pull yourself back to that concentrated point. And I actually sit with just this. I sat with that for years. I didn't really do any other work than just coming back to it. And then I found once it was opening, I could hold it for longer. I remember holding it for 10 seconds. I remember holding it for 30 seconds and giggling because this space was so open and there was no thought, and I was going like further and further than I have ever been before, that I started to giggle because I didn't know what else to do, because if I start to do any more, a thought would have come in, I would have dropped. So clairvoyantly, what I see is the space, the more that you build upon it, becomes more open, and it opens, and then there's this like little dip. It's a beautiful little nuzzling point, and you can nuzzle in. So we're going to find it today and circulate inside your mind's eye very gently, and you're going to find it because it's like a little orbit, and it'll pull you in like a little vortex, and it's a dip. So we're going to hold in there. So that became wider as I worked with it, and you could hold it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. That's extremely long. It would open up, and what I saw was that it was the channel. It's the Sushumna channel, central channel, and Takarana. So some people, it might be just a thread of light, and that's that point of light. As it becomes larger, it becomes, you know, maybe this size. And then as you can strengthen it, it becomes larger and it can move, and it becomes like a channel, and you can hold it. So the longer that you can hold it with non-thought, and even if thought comes, you pull yourself back. This is the left and right side of the brain. There's no synapses of the brain firing anything across this channel because it's thicker, it's really stable, it's holding the power. But if thought comes through, it collapses. So that just means you need to strengthen it a little more. So you're holding it. And then I found that it would just get larger and wider, and actually is malleable and fluidic. And then you're letting it spread to the far widths, left and right. And what happens then is you're pulled forward and you fall into your consciousness, the light vehicle body. So you're pulling it out. So to get to there, to get to this point of being able to hold, if you've got trauma or emotional imprints and past, and you've been shaken up a little bit, you're going to definitely have to work on your embodiment practices through breath, through movement, through sound. And this is the divine feminine. So you really need to work with divine feminine for some time to embody and release and let go, because that golden light that's clearing through your body will open the pathways to be able to hold a steady mind. Because when you start to hold it here, and if there's emotional turmoil in the background, it's like a mouse trap. It's so sensitive that if you've got emotion, mouse trap will just go ding, and your thoughts will fall in. Your energetic Sushumna will collapse. Energetically, it falls in, and you want to be able to hold it strong, equally, evenly for long lengths of time. So you train on self-focus, and so you're working on the lower chakras, the base, the sacral, the third chakra, with all the emotions, the past, the imprints, and you're clearing and nurturing and healing and being able to give your presence to those abandoned parts of yourself, or where that power has been taken from you through challenges or experiences that were either inflicted on you or that just occurred, like through illness and health or death. It's just dealing with those bits where you can be more accepting, not upset as much about it. It still would be an imprint, but you're taking the emotion out of it more, because at the middle of that emotion and trauma is the stillness, and is the power, and is the gateway. So all of your power, and it is a new gateway. So if you can't hold this point of light, it means you've got to dive deeply and go to the core of that wound. And that is actually a gateway that opens, that fires that Shakti fuel up through the body and blasts through, purifying all that is limiting you and keeping you caged to the body, the five senses and the emotional body. It actually knocks it all out, and then you're able to hold. So then when you can hold here, we will be dropping into the intuitive heart. It's the mind and the heart blend together, and you're in your temple body, and then we're going to travel to your soul star. So we're not going out at all. And today we're not really working on the deep feminine healing, because I would probably expect that you've done a little bit of that. And if not, then you'll need to look into that. I also teach that. But today, purely, we're accessing the stillness, the control center of consciousness. We're going to be connecting with the divine masculine. And we're also utilizing the connection of Shiva through this connection to get your light body vehicle, at least access it or hold it or get it moving. And we're also going to take a person with us as we shift and move into that stream for higher healing, taking their soul and sort of delivering their soul offering that they're going to be allowing the deep healing coming from the high heavens and the spiritual divine consciousness and Shiva, that the healing is coming to that one particular person. So I just want to have a little think if there's anything else I want to explain. I did make a few little notes. Yeah, so when we're moving into the heart center, it's going to be blind faith. You're moving from the mind, which is 5 senses, into blind faith, which is feeling. And what you might feel also as you drop into that, you'll also feel like a hood coming up around you as a 3-dimensional feeling. And this is where I likened it to that you're dancing on the dance floor, and when you let go of your body and your mind and you're not worried anymore, if you've ever remembered dancing and you're just in that space, it's that feeling that we're actually looking for through that intuitive heart center and the third eye, the control center of consciousness. And we're going to travel. Once we can drop in and blend, we're going to travel through. So I don't want you to take it linear, like, okay, we drop down to the heart, so now we're linearly moving out through the heart, and then how do I access the soul star? It all blends and drops, and you're just in that ball, that spaciousness ball, light body. So where you want to put your thought, that ball, light body travels too. So you can actually move through the heart of you with that safe, deep, enveloping feeling, moving to the soul star, but you're actually moving through the third eye down the long tube. You don't see the tube, but I know it's there, and we're traveling through it. It's quite a distance to get through that first veil to access the higher divine self. And the mind may try and chuck you off that channel. And that's that feeling of, so if you're in a triathlon or you're really going for it with the power of the mind and you don't know if you can make it, and you're almost going to, are you going to go through or are you going to drop off? That's where you've got to actually focus down the point of the nose and out. But I'll be guiding you through that. These are just a few little tips. Yeah, so as you're traveling, once you get spinning and then you get traveling, you're going down and out to the soul star, but you're actually going nowhere. You're in your orbit right here. So it's actually folding back on itself, and you're going at lightning speed. So there's all levels of a lightning speed. Once you leave the physical encasing of the physical body and the 5 senses, you're that light body that's spinning. You're moving rapidly like lightning. So it'll feel like you're whooshing in a car or on a roller coaster. It'll feel like when you had a drink of alcohol and it's a bit too much and you start spinning and you're whooshing, it's that whooshing same feeling. But you don't want to fall out of that whoosh, because that's your kicking energy getting you on to break through that veil, so that you can actually use your multi-dimensional perception then, not the 5 senses. And it actually is like a bit of a push through. And I've just lost a thought. When you're doing that, I've gone into it. That's why I'm not thinking. I've actually slipped through that veil just now. So just give me a moment, because I just have to catch up, because I've gone blank, which has gone beyond the mind. So my intellect, it's like an altered space of consciousness, and it's really blank and it's beautiful. But I'm trying to use my logic to explain prompts and cues to you. And it's quite funny. I feel like that giggling. And so that takes me back to when I was in that group where I was sitting and at Empowered, and I had the giggling starting, because it's actually the energy is like opening, and you've moved into the light body and you're traveling. That's right. So you're traveling and it's like speeds. You want to push into it and become it, and actually say, I've got a hold of this vehicle. I've got a hold of this light body vehicle, this new Ferrari. It's like octave speeds, and I've just triggered into it. Instead of feeling rattly with it, you're going to push in and go, yeah, I've got hold of this, and I'm going to the soul star, which is connected to the supreme consciousness. And we do have a beautiful vortex surrounding us. I set that up before I've come on live. So we're in a power momentum, and it's the same feeling, okay, that when you do have sex and right at the finale, the orgasm, and you're blown out and you're moving in this light speed body. That's the light vehicle. So it's the same feeling as dancing on the dance floor, and you're like lost that feeling of body and worry, and you're sort of just feeling all somatic. That's light body. You're in that sixth sensory. You want to feel it like a hood around you, three-dimensional. You're moving into the fifth dimension rather than this 3D world of the five senses and the confinement of the mind. You actually break through that. But so the speed has to happen for you to break through, and that's like the willpower pushing through. All right, I'm just going to check in before we begin. Yes, and what do you get? I just want to say, what do you actually get from this? How can we apply this into our physical life? You tap into that invincible power. When you catapult up and out, you're in an omnipresence, fearlessness. You've tapped your potential. You're in contact with the soul more. So with attunement to the soul, you are connecting with your soul desires, your deeper purpose, your life work, everything that's contained in that blueprint for you living in this physical world is there. So you're accessing it. There is a deep inner confidence, a magnetic confidence that comes out of you. All fear drops. So you become empowered. You actually can hold your own. If you're challenged, you can speak in truth directly like a sword, but in loving compassion and truth. You're not pulled out. When you're in this sixth sensory like vehicle, when challenges happen, you spin into it and you pull yourself out, and you're looking from the soul's eyes. You're not actually looking from the emotional body or the mental plane body that can react. You're actually able to see multiple scenarios. You can act very quickly on what you need to say. So it gives you the decisiveness, decision-making, clarity, the direct knowing. Because when you become that omnipresent ball of light that then can spread to the far limits of the universe and the earth, mind and matter, you're in little molecules everywhere. You can spread it to the depths like that, or you can come back in and direct it. You're becoming a director of your experience. I use it for connecting in mediumship, so that's a different frequency. I use it and I connect down into that level of frequency to connect with the soul, to bring them forth, to explain images and feelings and things that I see that pop up into my conscious mind, and then I'm able to share that, and then it's validated on the spot. So that's connection to a loved one that's in the spirit world. You can do it with your guide. You can do it also with your higher self. So your higher self is the highest level connected, and then going up to God. It knows everything about you more than you know about yourself. So connecting to it's like a mini God. And that's the track that I really encourage to go, because you are decisive. You will know. You will embody your knowing. And you can see multiple perceptions within that, so you know what to choose and decide, because you can feel it and know what is right for you. So you become really empowered, in tune, decisive. And what comes with that is fulfillment, love. Because as you tap that high potential, greater love, you're not alone, because you've blasted through that veil of separation that we think that we are alone. You're not alone. You'll feel it all in flux and flood through the body. You will also feel fulfillment and pleasure in the body, because it's a soothing feeling. And you will also feel you're tapping the abundance grid. So higher possibilities, abundance, financial, materialistic can come into your life if that's what you're seeking. Financial stability, increased finances, because you're magnetic and you're making choices towards your high potential. So, okay, we've been going on 20 minutes. I don't want to keep talking. Okay, so I've got a few people yet watching. Hi to you guys. So we're all ready to go now. I'm going to take you through a deep embodied experience. So I may have my eyes open and closed, but I find with them open, I can actually see the inner reality more so. So it might look like I'm looking off a little into that dimension. All right, so let's close our eyes and get comfortable. And just taking a breath in through the nose and relaxing, releasing the breath out through the mouth. And in the very first few breaths, it's really quite hard for the first few minutes to drop into alpha brainwaves from thinking. So you're drawing your consciousness back into the body. So we give it its time to draw back into the body, allowing yourself to come home heartward, back into your temple body space, which is the gateway. The embodied soul can actually access your high potential. So just another breath in through the nose, taking it all the way down to the abdomen, protruding it out. And then as you breathe out through the mouth, the tummy comes into the spine in a rhythmic sensation. Breathing in again, dropping it down a little lower into your sit bones and your pelvic floor. Hold. And breathing out through the mouth, relaxing your legs. Breathing in through the nose again, relaxing, calling in your consciousness from where it has been dispersed throughout today and the previous days or week. And breathing out through the mouth. So I just want you to start by taking your awareness to the top of your head and allowing your consciousness to gently, smoothly move around the perimeter of your head, really slowly. You're casing out what it feels like to be consciousness inside your brain. Gently moving around, noticing that you're on the outside perimeter close to the skull, and noticing that there's a space within, a sacred space of energy within the head and the mind. And just noticing that the control center of consciousness lies right in the central brain. It's also connected to the pineal gland. People call it the pineal gland point of light, the gateway to receive light, to receive information. And I just want you to relax and allow this cascading feeling of your consciousness smoothly coming down to your throat center, to your arms and your chest, out through your arms and hands, and also coming down in a wave-like motion. This is your consciousness moving down through your heart area to your solar plexus. And there's a lot of stress in the solar plexus. So we're just going to open this power center just by swirling and feeling your consciousness open it like a vortex. Slowly and gently, allowing it to become a little larger so it becomes relieved. And as you open it, it pours out all the stress energy, all the fear, the anxiety. The adrenal glands are situated behind in the back area of the solar plexus, and it's been under pressure. So you're just relaxing the nervous system, giving the stress energy an outlet to pour out horizontally, out through your body, out through the auric field, out through the emotional layers, the mental layers, and it's just filtering out. And it's like a beautiful wave moving down, opening that vortex and gushing out through the solar plexus out. You notice your throat center is also opening, allowing that vortex of pressure, of hiding yourself, of keeping your voice quiet, of confining or dimming your light, opening your throat center, allowing any suppression or oppression as energy, all of that emotional energy to pour out. You'll hear your ears pop as the mind center becomes more open and relaxed, because it's starting to feel its true deep presence of the soul self, which inhibits and is in the physical body. You're shifting your awareness from being identifying with the physical body to your consciousness, and it's enveloping and moving through your systems, your body systems. So with your next breath, allow your consciousness to descend down to the second chakra, This is where all of your emotional imprints, anything that's ever happened to you, or a disturbance, or you've dimmed your light, or any violence or abuse, or any sexual abuse. This is where all the energy is stored. So we're just gently giving it permission to open like a vortex and just letting it channel out. You don't have to give it thought or attach to the intensity of it. Just know it's a heavy feeling and you're letting it smoothly move out through the auric layers, giving it an outlet, feeling relieved that you can let that go. And now dropping into a deep, safe feeling of the root chakra gates. As you open the emotional aspect of where your power has maybe been taken from you in whatever way, it's a vulnerable state of awareness and the mind doesn't want to go down because it's too painful, so it tries to float up. So you want to relax with it because we've got all this power and presence surrounding us. We have a vortex of energy on the spiritual plane. We have the 4 angels, pillars of light surrounding us. You are very safe. You're within this vortex and you're within your own vortex. So giving yourself permission that this might be the first time that you're going to let yourself drop in a little more further, that it is safe to be in that feeling of not comfortable as your root chakra gate opens in the safety. And we're descending down into the earth frequency, which is Divine Mother. Her divine healing presence is there to nurture you, to hold you, to actually let you know that as painful as what your fears and things that have happened to you in life, that in this moment right now you are totally able to open further your awareness of the mind, your heart, and the root of your being, because within that vulnerability, and it tries to close and you just tell it to open a little more, then that vulnerability is a gateway. In that is the power of the stillness right at the core of the uncomfortable is the stillness. And you deserve the stillness, which is deep healing. When you can relax into that stillness, drop through and hold the 2 feelings of uncomfortable, as well as you know that the stillness of the soul is enveloping and overlaying you at the same time. You're holding the 2 and you're saying, I'm going to drop a little more and trust in this deep healing, somatic healing that can occur as you drop down into the divine feminine presence, that primordial essence of the earth, the trees, the surroundings. She is real and it envelops you like you are in the water, floating, allowing yourself to float, and there's not another soul around you, so that you feel safe. You can actually float and let yourself descend further, and you're being held as you descend down through the root gates, going deeper and deeper, feeling really safe, because you may have run from yourself, not only on if someone has hurt you or violated you or abused you. You might have just shut yourself off because you're actually afraid of your power, your greatness, your potential. So just opening your mind, your heart, and your body, opening your cells to receive and acknowledge the higher consciousness of your power, and floating right down, feeling really safe. And we're just establishing this grounded, connected, spacious feeling. So now spreading your awareness from the root gates out wider. Your consciousness is spreading out wider and infiltrating into the earth, feeling connected, feeling safe in your body, because if something has happened to you in the past, it has flicked you out and the mind has flicked you out further, and you're disassociating from that pain or the body. You're actually in the head and the mind is trying to lead you and keep you comfortable because it went through that. So there's a level of trust, and the root gates is trust. Trust in self, trust in your higher divine self. So allowing yourself to sink down, going back down. You're used to flying out, so we're coming back in, into the body. And remember, this temple body is a direct route to your higher divine self and the supreme consciousness. It's a channel. So the more that you come in and down and trust in self, you can spread your awareness wider. You can let go. You can let go because you feel safe. And when you let go, the root gate releases the beautiful sexual creative luminous life force, and it starts to channel up to the heart, and you feel safe. You can feel a flutter in your heart because you've actually descended down through that pain. And when you're in it, and if you're struggling, you just notice it. Don't notice it as pain, just notice it as that's uncomfortable. But I'm going to hold my presence in the uncomfortable. I'm sending the signal in. I'm accepting the unacceptable. So I'm accepting the unacceptable, which it neutralizes and lets you drop a little deeper so that you can feel comforted by that deep love, deep nurturance. And as you are now relaxed, your whole system opens up. You become that gentle vortex that's opened at the root gate. And it's just gently swirling your consciousness around, opening. And you notice that you are this vortex. So you're coming up through now, the second chakra is lit up, the solar plexus, your power center, the heart center. You're becoming that vortex. And now you're coming up through the throat and into the mind. Now we're going to work with the mind in the control center of consciousness, because really grounded and rooted in, which means you can hold this higher influx of power, pulling it into the body. So just closing your eyes and now circulating around that space in your head, slower. And you're looking for the central point of light, control center. You will feel it. So don't look for it with visual. Feel it. And how you feel is from your heart. Like a blind person, you are touching the edges to feel where, right in the middle. And when you hit the middle, it'll suck you in and hold you in. So you just want to get into that space, holding your focus. You feel your root chakra gate lock in with your third eye, which is right in that point, right in that control center of consciousness. You feel the two lock in. You feel a flutter of light energy swirling from your second chakra all the way up to your control center of consciousness, and just hold your awareness in this space. You become the observant mind, starting to access the soul's visionary sixth sensory perception. We haven't accessed it yet, but you're just touching on being able to hold and just swirl a little in that spot, right in that middle bit, and you notice you're not even coming out of it, because once it pulls you in, you're locked in. And if you're on the outer, it just means you've bounced out. There might be a bit of emotion or fear, but just a little more strongly say that you're going to come inwards and find that little point until it magnetizes and pulls you in. And now just hold it. So now I want you to hold it for as long as you can before you notice the next thoughts coming in. A thought might make you feel like you're thrown out of that channel. Just come straight back. Hold it. So you're holding like a blanket. You're pulling down onto it. You're telling yourself you're going to hold there. Now hold it for 5 seconds. And the longer you hold it, your head might start to shake a little bit because the vibration is oscillating and increasing rapidly. You're becoming that light body vehicle, so it's speeding up. Remember, we travel as lightning speed in the inner worlds, which is inside the physical body. So you're not going out anywhere, you can feel safe. So we haven't gone there yet. So just holding it. If you get a zzz feeling or your brain shakes, feels like it's shaking, it's rewiring. It's holding the Sushumna central channel a little longer. It's widening, it's strengthening as we speak. So holding it, it balances out. So just let it be an uncomfortable feeling, watch it pass on by, and then it will settle in. Okay, now allowing yourself to sink from this spot. You're nuzzled in, allowing yourself to sink gently like a gentle spiral, pulling into your inner world, into your temple body. Beautiful galactic space with stars, and you're sinking and spiraling down into the heart of you, the intuitive heart center. So now you're feeling. You've moved from trying to see or hear from the five senses to a deep sensory feeling experience. Allow yourself to sink into the heart of you. You're inside your soul's presence. So let's just feel like we're circulating the heart area as consciousness, as this new heightened frequency of consciousness. So just swirling in your heart center, feeling like you can move your consciousness. Just opening the heart center to allow it to open and let the gold light shine out in relief. Just releasing any heavier feelings or emotions that are keeping you stuck. And now your control center of consciousness that we moved from the middle of your brain is now blending with the heart of you. They become one, swirling. And you're losing your physical linear thoughts of the body, the frame of your body. You're not the body, you're not the emotions, you're not the thoughts, you're not the mind. You are the soul's awareness, the higher divine consciousness. It's emanating, it's maneuvering, it's energetic, it's separate from the mind and the body. So allow yourself to swirl. And what I want you to do now is just to swirl forwards, like that ball of light is collecting more power and energy. It's becoming a little larger in your heart center. You can't see, but you can feel that it feels very safe. And you're tipping forward, being pulled into that ball of light. And as you pull in, let it burst into many starlights, spreading in all directions of the universe. You are shattering the thought that keeps you in separation. Let it shatter into multiple pieces, little twinklings of gold light, and you are everywhere. You are in your body, in the galactic orbit space of the heart center, blended with your control center of consciousness, which lets you maneuver. And you're just falling gently and spreading to the far limits of the universe of mind and matter. And so what's happening is wave after wave occurs. We're just in an expansion and it's spreading now really wide. So you want your control center of consciousness in your mind, which is your heart. See how we lose the body and everything? So you're spreading it in the mind and the heart of you, stretching it. It becomes fluidic, opening this great big space. And as you open this new space, it's creating a veil. You're coming closer to the veil that slips you through the next expansion of consciousness, which kicks you up the ladder of consciousness to your divine self, the soul star and supreme consciousness. So as it spreads wider and wider, you feel safe in your heart, you're falling forward again. You're pulled in and you're rolling, and it explodes into another dynamic golden light and into multiple millions and billions of pieces of light. So we're actually just shattering and releasing thoughts and frameworks and belief systems. We haven't got going yet, moving. We're actually just dispelling and dissolving. So as this expansion light booms through your heart and mind, you stay in the body and you just let it, like a wave, move through and out. And then you will hit a spacious, peaceful feeling. And then you're grounding to that. So you're opening your root gates, because this is a greater amount of power coming in. You want to feel safe. So open your root gate, your perineum, your base, and allow residual negativity and fear of self, and then the collective consciousness, fear of self and expression, fear of expressing. Let it drop down, releasing it, feeling anchored with Divine Mother. She's holding you as you go through this deep, transformative, alchemical healing state. Widening the base, opening wider and wider. So now this is multidimensional. It's showing me that the base energy is opening wider and wider, and it's spreading consciousness, and it pulls you forward into the light body vehicle, and you're rolling and you tip forward and you're spinning. This time it's actually shooting up through the central channel to the third eye space. It's all in your body. So we're just shooting upwards. They're showing me that we're going up to the higher divine self now. So we've got to go through that gateway. Just lose your body though. This is in your inner orbit, in your inner world. So as we've opened more of the root gates, more power to hold that power in the body. You're tipping forward, you're holding it, it's stretching wider, you're pulling in, and as you fall in, that power shoots up. You are going to use that power to now push through right at the third eye. If you just look briefly, it's right here, and it's looking down the nose. So close your eyes, cross them slightly. It'll feel like a bit of a tingle here. Cross and follow this energetic tube or trail of light. This trail of light is here because it is your direct link to your high divine self. So let's focus in, travel down, and it will feel like you're starting to get on a roller coaster, and you're traveling, narrowing in. So you're not out there leaving the body, you're inside your temple body, and you're traveling down, 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 down. It's a very long way. So just keep going. This is lightning speed. You're fastening up. You notice your base and root chakra is opening more to allow that power to rise up and push you through. It's the sexual creative power is released. It is fuel. It moves up through the body. It becomes heightened and refined, catapulting you up through those layers of consciousness. And you're heading to your soul star through that trail. You can be traveling through that trail, and if you get too fearful or it gets too fast, you'll knock out. But we're not doing that. Hold on to it. You can handle your power. You can handle this Ferrari vehicle. As you go down, push through and know that you can actually hold this power. And what will happen is you'll feel like a hood comes over the back of your head, and you're in your light body. Now we're traveling at speed, moving to your higher soul star. So just know that that's where we're traveling. Keep traveling, traveling through multiple layers of consciousness, and we're doing this in our temple body. We have not left our body. The further that you travel out and you're going at speed, it can get very fast. You can fold yourself back on itself, your awareness, and hold it in the body and allow that expansion. You may need a little bit more fuel, so you come down to the root of you, and what you do is just a couple of circles with your hips. Imagine you're on that dance floor in your mind that music is blaring, because music blaring actually sends you into a perceptional, multi-perceptional feeling in the body. And imagine like a boom. You can actually create a boom feeling. So you're booming at the base, that golden light is Shakti moving through. It's going to come and push you through. And you can feel it now trickling from the front of your second chakra upwards, out, traveling out, out, out through the webbing. The webbing of the third eye, the control center of consciousness, is opening. And you're traveling straight down your nose energetically and out to your soul star. You're heading straight there. You'll feel a big power at the back of your head. That's another boom, going into multiple pieces of light. Now breathing out, because that was a large explosion and expansion. And breathing out and stretching, feeling relaxed. You've hit peacefulness, because you're actually hitting peace of mind. You're identifying yourself as the soul's consciousness now. You're up, moving like you're on the dance floor where it's somatically coming over your back of your head, maneuvering as this light body. And pushing through, traveling. You can move your consciousness. This is how I do readings on people or mediumship. You have to move out to connect to the soul. So we're moving to our soul self, and I want you to know that our beautiful guide, Shiva Gorakshak Babaji, is also overlighting us. So I just want you to sit in this for a moment while I attune myself, and we'll feel this through the audio. Now, cross your eyes over and upwards. We're now looking up to our high overseeing guide, Shiva Gorakshak Babaji. Stay in the body as you look upwards and inwards. Open your mouth and throat center, releasing fear, stress, releasing tension. Now hold this expansion at the third eye control center of consciousness. Allow it to smother it and hold it in as you expand with pink, white, and blue light. Hold it in. You're calling in the power of the divine masculine, Shiva's presence, calling it in to the body. The stillness, attuning. And if you are empathetic and can attune, you are attuning to the stillness, which is facilitated by Shiva. Going into spaciousness, folding into yourself, coming into that peace of mind, spaciousness, disappearing, dissolving, sinking into your light body. The heart and mind become one. You become that ball of light. Your body disappears. This is the ball of light that is in your body. And then we have our body on top of overlaying your truth of your expression. This ball of light is pulling all of the power of the stillness in, and it's becoming smaller and smaller so that you can contain it in the body. It's not so huge and out of you. You're pulling it in and it's becoming shrinking, smaller and smaller, and it's sinking down through your body into your heart center. Golden ball of light. It is you. Anchoring right down in the second chakra. Opening. Letting this new power, potential, and awareness to filter out energetically from the second chakra. Anchoring you. You're anchoring your greatness and your power into your second chakra. You're holding it in the body. Using your multi-dimensional perception, that ball of light that maneuvers, folds, and falls and sinks into itself, folding, evolving, sinking in. This is infinite. It's showing me it's infinite. You can keep sinking into the heart of your intelligence, and it never ends. And you can fold and feel safe as this anchor occurs in the second and now the root gates, locking in. Open. You're totally open, which used to be vulnerable, but this is a power because of love. You're in the multi-perceptional sensory of your higher love, divine love. There's no fear here. Dropping down, and it's sinking now further through the second chakra. We're going through the portal of creation, connecting to the cosmic consciousness. Spreading out wider and wider, letting it become wider. It's been so closed. It's open now, finally. Spreading out at speeds. It's moving at lightning speed now. It's not slowed by the emotions and the thoughts, which are cumbersome and thick and heavy. It's blasting through golden light, showering, taking you through a new level of spaciousness of the cosmic divine feminine awareness of creation. You're in this, you're uniting, you're in the body, and now you're connecting to the inner worlds. Just allowing yourself to float and to be. We won't be going to any dimension. It's just getting understanding and feeling on what it feels like to float, to surrender. There's a point of light right on the top of the pubic bone. So it's lower than the second chakra. Just open and activate, swirling this portal, and allow yourself to be pulled through. And you're spinning again. So as you're pulled through, anything that you're pulled through, the spaciousness, the veil opens. Goes wider and wider, and it to the edges, and then it pulls you, so you fall forward in that light body and you go through the second chakra. So we're accessing the higher divine self now, but it's through this energy center, but the body isn't here, so we are just that orbit. So just know that was just another veil entrance. And allow yourself now to shoot out like speeds, like blast it with golden light and travel your golden light body to your higher soul star. So we're going upwards now, upwards. And this is within our body. So we're inwards and we're upwards, going up to the soul star. Opening your mind, opening to see the deep mysteries of the universe, divine truths. No more conditioning and fear. Actually, the inner pathway, the highest pathway of truth and love. And you're going up, 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 exploding. It's going faster and faster as golden light. You're traveling. You notice, oh my gosh, I look like Halley's Comet, speeding through, and it's a golden light, and you can see a trail behind you. This is you traveling in your inner world, free. And no matter that it feels really black everywhere else, that's your potential. You're in your orbit. This blackness is a part of you. You're not in the galaxy. This is in your temple body. So don't worry, you're actually on that trail heading towards, and it takes a long bit of travel to get there. But what I want you to do at the moment, we did say we're going to do healing. So I want you to think of one person right now, because the power of the mind and the thought, you can be in this altered perception in the inner world, in your inner space, while you do things here physically. I'm in both 90% of the time of my day. I can flick in very quickly. But I want you to be able to choose one person that needs deep healing, because you're traveling right now. So keep your eyes open just for a moment to get a grasp on the two worlds. So that Halley Comet golden ball is traveling, and know that it's got some distance and it's still traveling to your soul star. So let it be and keep traveling. You push through, knows it's trapped. But now here with our mind, we're going to tune to that person that you love or care about. And you need an emotional connection to them. So you might really know what their mind or intellect is. You've met them, you know what their divine self is like, so you can tune to that. That's a bit more rare. Otherwise, you tune to their heart, you know, their goodness, their laughter, their fun. Actually visualize them speaking and laughing, so you get that connection. So you're taking their soul's essence, and now you're saying, you're taking that person's soul, so you're connecting to their soul. Where is that soul's energy signature? Just in your mind. So what's happening, instead of we're traveling now to the soul stars, just show them we've diverted off, and this is how you access dimensions. We're now accessing the one person that you want. So it's coming off, and they're searching, where's that soul? So I've got my person in my mind's eye, and I'm calling the soul of, and now you're traveling towards that in your light vehicle, that person. You just wait. At some minute you will feel a flutter. You know that you've actually locked onto them. Yes, I've got mine. Mine is, I know her divine energy signal through her divine flame. I can sense her, so it wasn't through the heart. So I've got hold of her energy, and what you're doing is you're just blending with her like that light body, and it's a spinning vehicle. You want to envelop her blind face. So I'm looking around. I don't know what I'm seeing, but I can feel her, and I'm calling her into my ball of light, blending. Now we're going to travel up to the soul star, but as we hit the soul star, we're going to place your person at the feet of Shiva Gorakshak Babaji. And even if you don't reach that level, just know that this is the energetic trail that we're traveling upon. So take your person that needs deep healing, envelop her energetically, her soul, into your light body vehicle. Now explode and shoot off, so you can actually create that golden bang from the base root of you, pushing out, and now you're on your way. So just take a moment. Know that we are in a deep healing vortex as well. Taking that one person. Shiva knows we are bringing. And we place that person, we offer their heart, their soul, the person, so the person's name, the soul of that person's name, and offer it in front of you. So the energy dismembers from your light vehicle, and you're just seeing them placed at the feet. And you might not see a person, I'm just saying at the feet because we're just at the presence of that great, powerful healing of Shiva Gorakshak Babaji. And you don't have to say too much because we've actually set up this as a healing space. He knows. We just place them there. And then let go. Allow divine will and mercy and blessings from Shiva to descend upon that person that you have placed. And it goes beyond you. So you've placed that person there for deep healing, and allow the rest to happen. And allow yourself now, because you're disengaged, just to spread your consciousness. Blend with your higher self now. You're right in that level at the Stargate. So you're just blending with yourself. And let's just attune to strengthen your signature. We don't have to worry now about the person that you brought through. That healing is done. And working through all the levels of consciousness back into that person's life. So we'll thank this special healing space and this vortex, and asking upon the mercy and blessings, divine grace and healing from Shiva, Gorakshak Babaji. Now just lock onto your own star gate, your star, soul star. So we're traveling down through our heart, down through the nose, looking down, traveling. And why we're traveling is because we're letting go of more fear or limits, anything that's stopping you from being your true self. Let it go by speeding up your frequency, traveling. It can't hold. It gets faster and faster that you can't even understand what those thoughts were or what the limits were. They just dissolve and fly off as you are moving in your light body. This is in your body. And we're calling in the amplification of the blue moon within our vortex. This is in our physical body. So beautiful blend with your higher divine soul self. And this is happening right here in the control center of consciousness, right in your brain. This expansion, this travel, that's blended with the heart. So it's that ball of light. It's happening right here. So now I just want you to envision or feel that ball of light can become a vortex. And this vortex is overlaying your mind, your body, slowly circulating down through your body so that you feel the embodied experience of power, liberation, love. You can feel flutters of love moving through your body, in your wholeness, in your direct expression of self. And you've brought forward a new part to yourself today. Let's continue to bring it forward out of the heart center of you and the throat center. They're showing me to voice, to be yourself, to express. Let that energy flow out through the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, and you're stepping into your power. No more hiding. No more fear. You're in your fearlessness. You're in your higher omnipresence ball of light. That's who we are. That ball of light is our existence here. Let it shine out of the heart center, bursting into 7 billion pieces, connecting with all of the 7 billion people in the world. Fragments of light energy spreading out. Giving yourself courage to stay in that power and presence, to pull into it, into that ball and that power, so that when you maybe express yourself, keeping your power open, that you're able to step forward beyond the fear of self, what you might look like, the shame, the guilt, the dimming of the light, that all drops off so that you can share what you need to share, express what you need to express, and this could go for business or in personal relationships and connections. Just be yourself. And no one's words, no one's comments, no one's like trolling stuff can ever affect you, because we're actually the consciousness, we're not the body, and we're all at levels of consciousness. So let that float out. And at one point, you were at that level of consciousness of judgment. So if another judges you, don't worry about it, because at one level we were like that. And so you see it as a schoolyard, playground, and the kindergarten and the preschool, and this is evolution and going up. So we were there. So if someone does do that to you, just know that, okay, that's all right. They're at that level of consciousness. They have not mastered their true expression of the soul. They haven't disengaged from fear or the five senses. And they're not in their direct power plugged in, because when you totally are, you have so much love and wholeness and fulfillment, you would not actually look at another person to cut them or judge them, because we've all been at those levels and we just keep evolving. So you send them love, because at some point you hope that they can crack through and see their power and potential, which is whole, which is not separate. You're connected and one with your divinity and the supreme consciousness, the source, where we came from, however you want to name it, if you're giving it a name. And it's that lineage directly up. So let's just sit in that open space, because I'm going blank now, because I'm starting to talk on really high themes, and in the blankness is deep healing. So let's just finish off with allowing your body to receive the deep, still healing. The longer you sit in the still, the stronger your power, control center of consciousness grows. The more that you can hold it open, the channel stays open, it's a vortex. The more that you're in that vortex, you can move into your light vehicle. The more that you're in that power, and then you travel and explode through the layers that are limiting you and come back into the body and anchor it. The more you're in your deep truth, the fears and what's happened to you doesn't exist. It did happen, but you're in the present moment right now, so you're not reliving it. You're right here in your power. And nothing can sway you, nothing can pull you out. So let's just hold that healing. And as you hold your own deep, still healing and bringing the focus back, and if you waver off, bring it back. Know that you are enveloped by a great big vortex space today within this healing blue moon sacred space. Your mind is a clean canvas of light, very still. There's nothing there. That's the no mind. The throat center is also a clear canvas. Threads of light still ironing out from suppression and compression, allow it to thin out and become open space. The heart is an open canvas of light, peace, stillness. The sacral, the middle, the solar plexus, the base, it's all opening into this spaciousness. And you relax into your sit bones. We have brought in Shiva, divine masculine, deep healing into the body. Let it drop down, and you're sinking now through the base and connecting with divine feminine mother, divine mother's presence, the primordial essence, really locking you into this body, on this earth, feeling like you belong, you have deep purpose, you have so much to share. Your power and potential resides here. It also, the fear or fight mechanism resides here too. So it can set off like a mousetrap, but we're recorrecting that, and we're keeping it open in this spacious stillness, the vortex of power right in the eye of the storm. So any type of emotion that might come or try to hit you, you'll hold that power and lock it in. And that's your concentration at the control center of consciousness, linked to the root gate, locking it in and holding it, which allows you to open in your power and not be worrying. So let it drop, let it all drop and anchor into the earth and let you filter out. So this ball of light is actually filtering out now. You. I say this ball of light, it's actually you. Dropping down. So this is a journey that we've gone on. That journey can keep going. I can see mine that will go down, down, down. It will explode, it will open, expand, it will dissolve. And then it's a veil. As it explodes, it takes you through another veil. And this is deep diving through your emotional terrain and your mental and the psychological terrain, going down deeper. And it can go wave after wave, and it starts to iron out until it becomes very spacious and nothing. So you attune to that. When that happens, then you can ascend through the ladder of consciousness in your inner orbit, in your inner world, and travel to your high divine self to embody greater love and power and potential. And it's a cycle. And then it embodies, and then you move through this, and then it opens the pathway to allow the stillness to come back in, which is the masculine and the feminine becoming one. As they become one, they nil out, zero out, and you're pulled through another veil. So see how it's infinite. It continues to go infinite, going up through the levels of consciousness. And within that, there's many doorways to other dimensions if you choose to go that way. And I don't rarely ever do. I do within a reading. I'll divert out for mediumship, come back in, but this is my true pathway. As you're in this, it will start to heighten your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, all the psychic faculties, because they reside in the soul, in the light vehicle. They're not of the body, of the five senses. It's once you can disengage and move into that light body and become and blend with it, you're going to open the vision to the inner world. You're going to see or feel or hear, and feeling is the strongest. Feeling. And then when you can feel out energies or high divine self, you blend. So this is the next level. I'd love to talk about deep blending, because when you blend your mind, it's consciousness with the mind of another consciousness, they become one, and that's how you get the direct knowing coming back in. But it's a fine level of attunement, and the mind can knock you out, so then it can be interpreted wrong. Okay, I think I'm going on now. So continue with your journey. I'm so pleased we set this up tonight with all the extra energy of the blue moon. You've just experienced a level of accessing your light body vehicle. You've worked at descending through the layers of resistance, opening those gateways to access your higher consciousness as light vehicle, and embodying more of your love and potential, and your knowing, because your sensory is actually heightened, so your knowing becomes direct. You can feel it in your body as an answer, as an image will pop up from that. It actually is giving you communication and answers and direction. So the more you can access it and blend, there's a blending, deep blending that has to occur, because you can flick out of it pretty quickly. This is your knowing, and you'll know it. It just will be in your body. You know this has to happen, or you know that that's going to happen with that person, or this, and you can just, you're seeing it from multi-dimensional perspectives. So, all right, thank you for coming along. This was a big journey. So the first 23 minutes was an explanation. The following was the end of it as a healing, and thanking you all for bringing the person that you wanted for the healing today, because they will receive that. It's beautiful. And I want to thank the angels, the 4 angels of setting up the sacred space, your higher divine self, my higher divine self, for overlaying and actually showing you those pathways and entrances and veils. And I also want to be gracefully thankful to Shiva Gorakshak Babaji, the higher overseeing light of divine masculine. And I shall see you on either another webinar or my short videos, which I will be doing like 10 to 12 minutes, which are lovely. They're nice and short and consolidated. So thank you. Have a beautiful evening. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.